Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ryan Cato,
Hunter Thompson,
Trevor McVeigh,
and we're the Backups, a little football podcast. Today we're getting into some crazy shit. We just did this mock, and we're about to kind of put it out there, see what anybody thinks. People fall, people rise. We're going to see what we got going on.
but first, let's get started with some Super Bowl recaps because, that kind of happened the other day. Trevor, what do you think about it?
I thought that was a classic ass whooping, for being honest. I mean, the first quarter was a little rough for KC, but they just came back and just really brought it to them. Even overcoming their terrible offensive line, Patrick Mahomes was just too damn good.
And that's a fact.
I seriously thought it was a better game than y'all are giving it credit for. Kyle Shanahan's offense is truly just unstoppable
It's a present to
until
watch,
he
dude.
gets in his own head and gets his own head up his ass and tries to beat Patrick Mahomes with the one and only Jimmy Garoppolo.
Hey, shout out 28-3.
That hurt a little bit. Why'd you
Nah,
have to
but
do
no,
that?
it's
As
no.
Falcons fans, that really hurt for us.
Shanahan's offense is a gift to watch. I mean, the schemes, the motion, I'm watching that, the first half and even into the second half of the third quarter, and I'm saying, good Lord, like this man's too smart for me. So it's and with the physical gifts that are on KC, I think that's what made it a better game. You get to watch Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes play. It didn't get much better than that.
It was really nice to see Andy Reid get his first Super Bowl after 21 seasons.
Yeah, good Lord.
As Travis Kelce reminded everybody in his Super Bowl speech, 21 years you can drink beer. 21 years it took Andy Reid to win a Super Bowl.
Amen. And that's my fantasy tight end. So, shout out him.
Hell yeah.
Anyways,
Did y'all hear the speech though? The Travis Kelce speech? It was like a WWE hype up speech.
that's what we like.
He was out there looking like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He was drinking he was luging beer off the Super Bowl trophy on the
Yeah,
plate.
he was.
So.
He got out there and yelled, "We opened a can of whoop ass" on
Stanley
everybody
Cup
this season, and it was
He said that on TV.
live television.
I love that man. Before we get into this mock, we have an ad. This episode is brought to you by John and Melissa Cato at 8528 Spring Breeze Terrace. John and Melissa Cato, thank you for letting us use your house. You're real ones.
Amen. Hell yeah.
Shout out, thank you for your basement.
All right, let's get into this mock, baby. The way we kind of got this set up is we're gonna rotate through picks. So Trevor will pick number 1, I'll pick number 2, and Hunter will pick number 3. We'll rotate through till the end, which means Hunter won't get an extra pick, and maybe that's for the better.
I agree.
But getting us started with the Cincinnati Bengals, Trevor.
I think we all know at this point where this one's going. I mean, Cincinnati can be a wild card. They only have like a half a scout on their roster or on their payroll. But it's going to be Mr. Joe Burrow out of LSU. This guy can make every throw. Not the best arm, but accurate, poised, wins the big games. Got to go with him.
Little surprised you didn't go with family favorite Shea Patterson over there.
Oh my God. Nah, Joe Burrow's magical. I mean, we saw it all season. One of the best college football seasons
Ever.
So
That game against Georgia, insane. Game against Oklahoma, truly incredible. 7 in the first half, right?
yeah, absurd. 49 points to yourself in the first half is
Mad
almost
numbers.
unheard of. Yeah, that's Madden numbers. That's for real. I mean, that's NCAA 14. Honestly. So coming in at number 2, we have the Washington Redskins. I think every mock on earth has the same top 2 picks. But I think Chase Young is probably the most talented player in the draft.
Agreed.
I think
100%.
I think he's athletic, he's strong, he's fast. It doesn't make any sense. I think he's a generational talent. And I think the Redskins would be silly to not go Chase Young here at 2.
That D line that they'd be putting together with Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and then if you throw Chase Young in the mix, it's
over.
ungodly. Like, that's probably the best defensive line in all of football.
Which is crazy for
And
a
they're
team
all-
that just won 3 games.
And they're all in their first 3 years in the pros. So if they can find a way to keep
Young.
them together for the next decade, it's going to be the best D-line of all time.
Yeah, if they continue on this path for sure.
So up next, we got pick number 3, the Detroit Lions. I'm going to pick Isaiah Simmons out of Clemson
You're a crazy
here.
ass man.
And there's so many different things you could do with this pick. You could pick Jeff Okudah, Derek Brown, quarterback if you're feeling ambitious. But Isaiah Simmons is where I'm going to go because Matt Patricia big time defensive guy. Give him a shiny toy where you can line him up anywhere. Trevor, weren't you saying you saw a video or something?
Oh yeah, this man ran step for step with Mr. Travis Etienne on a field, and we all know he's a burner.
Yeah, I mean that's a 4.443 man. And he's what, 6'4"?
He's 6'4", 250 or something like that, I think.
Yes,
He's
yeah.
running probably a 4.4.
I mean that's Montez Sweat. That's the same kind of thing. That's insane. And a man who can play coverage too. He's going in as linebacker, but played safety during the season.
He's just
rush the passer a little bit too.
Yeah,
He's
for
literally
real.
just a defensive athlete at the next level. It's
Yeah.
insane.
I mean, we do have to consider. Obviously, we're not doing trades in this mock, but the Lions are a good trade down. They have a good trade down scenario,
Definitely.
and I think with all of the teams looking for quarterbacks in this first round, it's very likely somebody's going to try to trade up to 3 to snag the top quarterback available. So.
And at pick 4, we have the New York Giants. And they can go several different directions here, but I went to someone to guard Daniel Jones' ass, to be honest. I'm going to go with Jedrick Wills out of Alabama. He should be really good. He's got good feet. Hopefully he has good length. He's got good size. Should be a really solid tackle for the future.
Dave Gettleman is also known for going for these big man-eater offensive lineman type. And so why not grab somebody to protect your franchise quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, Will's a 6'5", 320. I mean, the man is big. He's 20 years old, and
Way better than Nate Solder.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say way better than Nate Solder, absolutely. And plus, Jedrick Wills is an excellent run blocker, and
Worst case, you get a starting right tackle out of it.
Yeah, and sitting him in front of Saquon is not a bad pick either. At number 5 is the Miami Dolphins. I think, like I said with pick 2, a lot of mocks are hitting the same spot here with Tua Tagovailoa. The Dolphins are obviously in desperate need of a quarterback. The Fitzmagic is running out, and they sure as heck can rely on anybody else. So I think they're looking at Tua here. If they don't end up trading up and getting him before.
It's so crazy because like the start of the season when the Dolphins were getting blown out by Baltimore, by New England, all those teams that just beat them senseless in the first half. Everybody was like, "Oh, cool, tank for Tua, tank for Tua, tank for Tua," you know? And the thing is, the Dolphins, they played themselves out of that tank. They're not the first overall pick. They're lucky to be top 5 at this point, honestly.
They're also lucky that Joe Burrow outshined Tua this season.
Well, I think that has more to do with Tua's injury.
Sure.
Because Adam Schefter did say that that Tua was more likely to be the number 1 pick had the injury not occurred. But for Miami's sake, the injury was the best thing that could have happened for them, because you get your franchise quarterback to play in the AFC East and to go up against those stellar defenses and hopefully bring you out of the cellar and bring you back to top.
If he stays healthy, this guy could be the next Drew Brees.
Yeah, I what I am afraid of is the same shit that always happens when you take a quarterback to Miami. Is he's not going to be surrounded by the same weapons as he was before. I mean, Tua has Judy, Ruggs, and Devontae Smith on that one offense.
And he's coached by Nick Saban.
And he's coached by Nick freaking Saban. With Najee Harris in the backfield too. I mean, and he's getting protected by guys like Jedrick Wills.
With a defense to lean on as well.
Right. So it's obviously it's going to be a learning curve. But you hope to see a guy like that succeed.
Oh yeah, for sure. Speaking of quarterbacks, next up, one of the most controversial picks in the draft, according to Cato at least.
I hate this pick.
At number 6, the Los Angeles Chargers are taking Justin Herbert, the quarterback out of Oregon.
Tell me
the
why.
Senior Bowl MVP, the athlete. He's got an arm. He's got the size. He's got everything you look for in terms of a franchise quarterback. And the Chargers let Phillip Rivers go. They straight up said, "Hey, we're going away from one of our best quarterbacks of all time. So what are you gonna do? Get Tyrod Taylor to be your franchise guy? Hell no."
I mean, I think that there's. I'm not going to say it's Tyrod Taylor, and as a Bills fan, I'm going to tell you it's definitely not Tyrod Taylor. But I think that, like Trevor said earlier, some team has to get a quarterback from free agency, and whether it's Teddy B, whether it's whoever, Cam Newton, I don't give a shit, but it's got to be somebody, and I think the Chargers might be that somebody. I don't know how much I love Herbert on the Chargers anyway, but The Chargers do have a need at quarterback for sure.
All right, with the pick number 7, we've got the Carolina Panthers. And I decided to go with Derek Brown here.
Yeah.
He's a monster from Auburn. Rushes the passer. It's good in run defense. He's just a freaking game wrecker, which is easy to say. He's going to be really good with the Carolina team, which scares me as a Falcons fan.
Oh, yeah, that pick's terrifying for anybody in the NFC South. The dude's so good, and I honestly love this pick as just a sports fan. As a Falcons fan, I do hate it. But as a sports fan, it would be incredible to watch him just literally wreck games and just lead that Panthers defense back to hopefully Super Bowl heights that they were in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect for their needs. The next pick, we have the Arizona Cardinals. We're stuck here, I think at least, and we had trouble with this in the mock before, with Jerry Jeudy still on the board, as well as Tristan Wirfs this high, and those are the two biggest needs for the Arizona Cardinals right now. Like Kyler Murray's getting no pass protection, excuse me, and the Cardinals, have an aging Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk, and so they do need weapons on that outside. Even with the addition of Kenyon Drake at running back, they still need those pass weapons. But I think it's far more likely with this deep receiving class that they're going to go Tristan Wirfs at pick number 8.
I do think the Cardinals are one of those teams that could be a trade down option because they have a lot of big needs and they have such a young roster that they could trade back and accumulate more picks to try to bring in another guy like an Andrew Thomas and then grab a guy like Chenault later in the draft or a Justin Jefferson later in the draft to be that receiver and be that tight end, or not tight end, tackle. I don't know why I just said tight end. But Wirfs is a good pick there. And moving on to the next pick, number 9, Jacksonville Jaguars. I have them taking Jeffrey Okudah in this mock, who, holy shit, how the hell did he fall this far?
I couldn't tell you, bro. I couldn't tell you.
But the reason I made this pick, they just dealt Jalen Ramsey in the middle of the season to the Los Angeles Rams. AJ Bouye's solid. I don't know if he's the true number 1 that they need. So why not pick Okudah, who's just as good as Ramsey was as a prospect and probably less of the issues that come with him. Okudah's a freaking baller, and the Jags just got an absolute steal at number 9.
Unbelievable steal. All right, at pick number 10, we've got the Cleveland Browns. So we all watched good old Baker Mayfield scramble for his life for the majority of the season.
Yeah.
So we decided to go tackle here with Andrew Thomas from Georgia. He's good at run blocking, good at pass blocking. There's not much he can't do. I'm going to reunite him with Nick Chubb in that run game. It's going to be dirty. It's going to be nasty. Only question we have about him is his arm length, which could be a little short, so we'll see how that goes. But other than that, he should be an awesome pick for Cleveland.
Yeah, I also have some questions about Thomas's footwork. I haven't loved what I've seen so far. Obviously, with Combine coming up and more film to watch, there's always more that can be said about tackles and development like that. But I didn't love that. But he's powerful. He's huge, and he's a great blocker. He's got good IQ, I think.
I think this is a great pick because, and Baker Mayfield will be just probably going out and trying to take Andrew Thomas out to the bar when he first gets there.
Sure.
Because that's just going to be his new best friend.
And him and Baker Mayfield probably have about the same body right now. I don't know if y'all saw that picture on Twitter, but he's looking pretty thick.
He's been drinking too many beers at Indians games. That's the problem. Coming in at number 11, the New York Jets. I think that the clear biggest need for the New York Jets is going to be their line, just all around. I mean, it's rough. And Sam Darnold, who they still have faith in, I think, and I still have faith in, is their franchise quarterback as of right now. And so one of the biggest risers over the past few weeks, and someone that I've had my eye on for quite a few weeks, is my boy Becton, the tackle out of Louisville. And he's going to be my 11th pick. He is massive. He's 6'7", 369 pounds. The man is a bear. And his footwork isn't bad. Arm length is good. He's a smart blocker. He can block for both the pass and the run. And I love him at this pick here.
I love watching film on this guy because you're sitting there like, okay, who is he? And then you see this giant monster just walk up there who's bigger than the left guard and the center combined.
Bro, it's the blind
just
side, dude.
Drive through these small, undersized defensive ends.
He's the mountain from Game of Thrones.
He's so large.
Can we have like a liftoff? Like have Betkin go up against a mountain in like one of those Oklahoma drills? Oh my god, that'd be so cool.
Honestly, they're honestly about the same size. Becton is so large. He's so large.
And he's only 20.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. I mean, that's the crazy part I think about a lot of these kids. A lot of these kids are 99 birthdays. Like I don't know how I could possibly feel old at 21 years old, and here I am.
Well, I guess that'll lead into our next pick. We got the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes,
picking,
sir.
My bad. Let me get that
Vegas.
one right. Dirty Vegas. We have them picking the wide receiver number 1 of this class, Jerry Jeudy.
How did that happen?
How's he falling? We don't know.
We don't know. We couldn't tell.
But, it happens. And so Derek Carr gets his franchise receiver. If, the Raiders do elect to stay with Derek Carr, we'll see. But he gets the receiver. John Gruden gets his guy. And you get one of the best players in the draft, one of the most crisp route runners I've ever seen, surest hands, one of the best Alabama receivers of all time.
The next Odell Beckham.
Yeah, well, hopefully not Odell Beckham from this last season, but of course he won't be coached by Freddie Kitchens.
Well, Baker Mayfield was throwing to him.
That's true. That's fair. Yeah, I love Jeudy here. I mean, he's fallen clearly, but the Raiders are getting the best possible pick with a wide receiver need and those tight-ass routes from Jeudy. I like it there.
All right, here at 13, we have the Indianapolis Colts. Didn't know where to go with this one. They could go Jordan Love, but I think they're going to get a quarterback in free agency. So I went with CeeDee Lamb here. I think it's going to be great across from T.Y. Hilton. Possession guy. He makes big plays. I'm worried about his route tree. He does a lot of just running across the middle and just catching it and just taking off. But his hands are good. And it should be an all-around great pick for whoever's throwing the ball for the Colts.
CeeDee Lamb is an absolute monster. I love watching him in Oklahoma because he'll just literally drive through the defenders that are trying to tackle him. And there's one play where he dodged 7 tackles? I don't remember.
Yeah, his body control is great. His hands are great. I see him a lot like D-Hop, honestly. I don't know if you guys like that comp, but
I think it's
his talents.
A pretty good comparison skill set wise.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how he runs, though. I do worry about his speed.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like taking off on go routes, it might be a little bit more difficult than some of the other receivers in this draft. But luckily, the Colts do have T.Y. Hilton, like you said, so a little bit of speed on the other side.
Cato, next up is number 14. Who you got?
For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I don't know. There's a lot of defense on the board that I like. But I think that it's really likely that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to go with Jordan Love at 14. I think that that Bruce Arians likes a guy like Jordan Love. And I think Bruce Arians kind of been talking shit about Jameis in the offseason. I know you guys
don't we all?
That one, yeah, for real, though. No, don't we all? But you sent me that one tweet of that it's a clip of Bruce Arians saying if we can win with Jameis, we can win with anybody. So the Bucs. The Bucs went 6-10, 7-9. They got the 14th pick with Jameis Winston. Then with the threats that he's gotten, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, I think that Jordan Love's a good pick.
Don't you dare disrespect my boy Jameis Winston
my
like
gosh.
that. That man is a Heisman Trophy winning.
You picked Isaiah Simmons at 3 and Herbert at 6.
The only quarterback in the 30 interception club. He is a monster, and we are so proud of what he's done as Falcons fans. He has taken Tampa to new depths that they have never gone to before, and they will never be able to crawl out of.
Bro, with your wild-ass picks, you would love Jameis. I love that, though. Somebody's got to love him. His own mother doesn't even love him, so.
He loves them crab legs, though.
Yeah, and that's a fact. Tell me what we got at 15.
All right, 15, we got the Denver Broncos picking Henry Ruggs, the wide receiver out of Alabama, the speedster extraordinaire, who might run a 4.2, is what we've been rumored to hear.
He's going to run a 4.2. It depends on how low.
Yeah, that's real.
Is he going to break the combine speed record? I freaking hope so. But the reason I like this pick is the Broncos are sitting there trying to pick for their franchise quarterback, Drew Lock, put on. But anyway, you got to get him a weapon. They have Cortland Sutton on the outside, but why not give him something else? Give him another shiny weapon. See what he can do with 2 good receivers instead of just 1. I think this is a good pick, and I think this could be their guy. And John Elway needs to save his ass. So give Drew Lock as many weapons as you can and see what he does.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I would like to see him get a O lineman there, but there's not much there at the moment. A lot of the good ones have already been taken. But at pick number 16, we have my Atlanta Falcons.
Yes, sir.
And they could have gone either edge or interior D-line. So I went with Javon Kinlaw out of South Carolina. Everyone was talking about how much he was destroying the Senior Bowl freaking linemen. And this guy should be a game wrecker, which is what Thomas Dimitroff wants. His first step is nasty. His pass rush is good. Should be an all-around just great pick for the Falcons, and hopefully they'll get some edges in free agency.
Yeah, I agree on your. I agree there.
Thank you.
We're gonna cut that. That's no, but I'm just playing. But on that first step, he's explosive as hell, and as a man who's what 6'5", 300 something.
Oh yeah.
310.
The fact that his first step's that good, the fact that he's that explosive, he's running into these guards and centers and whoever that quick. I like that. I love that from a defensive tackle.
I do absolutely adore this pick as a Falcons fan, but the Falcons.
Also as a South Carolina fan.
I am a South Carolina fan also, but I do see the Falcons potentially trading up or moving out of 16 because Thomas Dimitroff did say to the Stick to Football boys over at Bleacher Report that they're at 16 for now, and Thomas Dimitroff likes to trade.
He does like,
and his job may be on the line this year, so he's gonna get aggressive, I bet.
Yeah, I think that's really likely. I mean, the Falcons, as of recent, are known for picking something sexy almost every draft. I don't know why they do that in the first round.
Dimitroff likes his shiny new toys.
He does. Hopefully, he likes Kinlaw or somebody on the edge, because that's what they need there. At number 17, we have the Dallas Cowboys. I think that there's a pretty large hole on that team in the secondary. And I think that there's a couple of large holes on that team from last season, namely, head coaches and things like that. One of the most talented offenses in the league. I don't know how you don't go higher than 8-8, but I think that defense is hurting, and I think that the defensive backs are the first place to start, which is why I think that they're going to take Christian Fulton at LSU.
There are a lot of different things that I think you could go here at pick 17, but I think Christian Fulton is the most likely option. But you were talking about things that were kind of hampering the Cowboys. You could even argue Dak Prescott in that. The $35 million man, or at least he wants to be.
Franchise tagged. Shouldn't be that much.
If you look at the offense, though, it's basically a Lamborghini, but you have Dak Prescott driving it. You know?
Oh, my God.
Like, I'm sorry. Wow. He is... In my opinion, he is no better than Kirk Cousins as a quarterback.
Okay. Well, Kirk Cousins is the playoff quarterback.
Is Dak Prescott? No.
Well, no. That's fair. That's fair.
Did Kirk Cousins get carried to the playoffs by Dalvin Cook? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think Dallas is
case,
their leading cornerback, I believe, is hitting free agency. So Christian Fulton does make a lot of sense here. All right, let's go ahead and go to Miami.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Miami, this is my pick. At number 18, Miami Dolphins pick Kayvon Chaisson out of LSU. Dude's a monster. He's got an incredible motor, like just an absolute monster off the edge. There are a few injury concerns about him, but I don't think it's anything that's going to scare anybody away. Miami has so many holes on that D-line and just defense and offense, to be told. And by this point, though, why not give them the best edge rusher left in this draft, Kayvon Chaisson, at number 18?
Talk to me about the difference between Chaisson and Epineza here, because those are like the two big edges, and they're still on the board. So I was just wondering your thoughts.
Yeah, okay. So as a pure edge rusher, I think Kayvon Chaisson is a much better pass rusher. I think AJ Espinoza is a 8 to 10 sack guy at the next level, kind of like Michael Bennett was for Seattle for a few years. One of those big, strong side edges that's just going to just be in your face, whether it's in the pass or in the run game. He's just going to be there. I think if you're trying to get somebody to chase down the QB, which in the AFC East, you have some very good cornerbacks or quarterbacks. You have Josh Allen. Sam Darnold can run. Tom Brady can't really run, but he's still there. Or is he? We don't know. But you need a guy to be able to get after them, and I think Kayvon Chaisson is the better pick for the Dolphins trying to rebuild that D-line.
Yeah.
He is my favorite effort in all of this class. He is always going towards that ball, and I love it. Almost went with him with the Falcons. And then now we got the Las Vegas Raiders.
Back up.
They got a few holes, but I went with linebacker for them, and I went with Patrick Queen at LSU. He might be, if it wasn't for Isaiah Simmons, he would be the best linebacker in this class, in my opinion. This guy's a beast, tackling machine. I just love the way he works, and that's my pick, boys.
Yeah.
The dude is a monster. I do like the pick a lot. So
Yeah, I mean he's quick, he's strong. He's not huge, but you know, at this point in the NFL, there's not that many traditional linebackers anymore. It's a lot of these quick guys, and I think Patrick Queen, hopefully his talents will translate. Number 20, the Jacksonville Jaguars again. I hate picking for the Jaguars, I'll tell you that. Because I feel like the Jaguars are such a wild card. I feel like that they can pick anybody. Luckily, Okudah fell into their lap earlier, and I think honestly, the same thing happens here at 20, where AJ Epinesa falls this far, falls past some other teams with D-line needs, and I think that he's the best player available, and the Jaguars pick here.
the Jaguars have the most average roster in the NFL, in my opinion. Like, there's truthfully are not that many players that just pop off the screen. You have Miles Jack on the defense, but then on offense, you don't really have anybody that pops off.
Fournette will have a good game here and there.
Gardner Minshew Mania, that's still around, but is he really a franchise quarterback? Still to be determined. Nick Foles, to be determined if he's actually worth the contract he got. We don't know. So, I don't know. I like this pick a lot.
What did Ngakoue leave into? This could be a great pick with Epinesa.
That's true. Pick 21, we got the Philadelphia Eagles next. I'm going to have them picking Chenault, the wide receiver out of Colorado.
Laviska.
Yes, but the dude's a weapon. Like, he's more than just your traditional receiver. He's been getting a lot of Deebo Samuel comparisons, and as you saw with the Niners, Deebo Samuel was more than just a receiver. He was just an all-around weapon for that offense. And I think Doug Peterson is going to know how to use Chenault the best. He's got the speed. He's got the size. Are his hands there? We'll see. He didn't play against the biggest competition. Granted, it was still a Power 5 conference guy, but he was playing at Colorado, which is in the Pac-12, who's not necessarily known for their defenses. But I think this is the pick, and you got to get Carson Wentz some more weapons if you want to make another Super Bowl run.
Yeah, I love that Deebo comp, especially with his speed and his versatility. You even saw in the Super Bowl all the motion that Shanahan was putting his wide receivers in, running these quick routes around the quicks around the edge, all things like that. I think that Chenault is really capable of all the things like that, and I think that that's a good pick there for the Philadelphia Eagles.
They definitely need speed. A lot of them think that the Philadelphia's got the slowest roster in the league. It's a good pick. All right, at 22 we have the Buffalo Bills.
Thank God.
And they have
Bills
Mr. Josh Allen, who struggles with accuracy. So we're going to give him a 6'4", 220 wide receiver, Mr. T. Higgins out of Clemson.
Thank God.
This man's catch radius is freaking fantastic. He can run after the catch. He's big. I can't wait to see what he does in Buffalo because he's going to go there no matter what. I love this pick, guys.
I think it was really interesting about T. Higgins was watching him in the national championship game because he did get hurt, and when he left, Trevor Lawrence's numbers drastically dropped. He's just truly one of those guys that's like, you get the ball, you have to get the ball to him. He's a game changer at the wide receiver position, and I'm really excited to see what Josh Allen could put up with a receiver like T. Higgins there, if that happens, because this is a mock draft.
Yeah, as a Bills fan, as a loyal member of the Bills Mafia, I think that T. Higgins is the pick here. I think I've since the beginning of the year been mock drafting over and over and over, and I cry every time T. Higgins doesn't make it to the Bills because I think he's perfect for the team.
It's got to be the pick.
You have John Brown, you have Cole Beasley, guys like that who are not big enough to compete in some of the with some of the corners in the AFC East. And so I think that T. Higgins has to be the pick here.
I do think this pick is subject to change if the Bills go after a wide receiver like Amari Cooper if he hits free agency.
That would be game changing.
Granted, they could still go both and try to get Josh Allen more weapons because if they think that is their franchise guy, load him up with what you got.
I'd be very down with that.
Yeah. So next up, the New England Patriots. And I hate picking for this devil of a team.
Is this the first time they've picked 20? Like, when was the last time they picked this low?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. That it's been a while. I mean, because they were out in the divisional round, right? So
yeah, divisional round.
Yeah, so that's I don't remember the last time that happened.
Well, anyway, who you got them taking?
At number 23, I think that they're going to, because their biggest need is tight end right now. But I don't think that I don't think that there's a tight end worth picking first round, and certainly not at pick number 23. So I think that they're going to fill a need at the edge and pick Yetur Gross-Matos out of Penn State.
I've watched a little bit of him. His edge speed is ungodly good. I love his motor as well. Should be a good overall edge for them. I hate to see him with New England because I think Bill Belichick will scheme him to be some kind of monster like Von Miller or some kind of deal.
I think this dude has incredible game-changing energy. I do personally think this is a little high for him, but
Agreed.
I think at the same time, the Patriots might trade out of this pick.
Yeah.
So I think they might try to trade back, and then they could still get this guy, with a later pick. But I do think this is a Patriots pick written all over it. Why not get a game-changing guy to replace and be like a Chandler Jones like they used to have?
Yeah, I mean,
because they need something.
And to your point, for a team with no second round picks, I think it's very likely that they trade down and out of the first round, just to try to pick those up, with some of the deeper classes in this draft.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to pick 24, the New Orleans Saints. This is a weird pick for me, just because I wasn't really sure what to do with it at all. Does Drew Brees leave? Is Taysom Hill their franchise guy?
We hope so.
Oh, God, I hate that.
Falcons fans, I hope so.
Taysom Hill is so frustrating.
Hey, for a podcast named for backups, we shouldn't be talking so much shit about Taysom Hill.
That's true.
He should get backup of the year, if we're being honest.
If we do a backup of the year award, Taysom Hill gets it if he doesn't become their franchise guy.
We're about to find out.
I'm going to have the New Orleans Saints at 24 picking the linebacker out of Oklahoma, Kenneth Murray. Wow, that was really hard to say. But Kenneth Murray is an absolute monster. He's just as hard to defend as it was for me to say that. We were trying to watch film the other day on the LSU Oklahoma championship game, and we just kept getting distracted by how rangy he is as a linebacker. To pair him up with Kiko Alonso and AJ Klein in that defense, very solid. I think this is a good pick. As a Falcons fan, terrifies me because he is a rangy athletic linebacker who will be shutting down all of our weapons.
He's truly a sideline-to-sideline linebacker. He can go anywhere on the field. He can also cover. His coverage is great. He should be an all-around just deadly linebacker for the Saints. And then at 26, we have, again, the Miami Dolphins.
We're at 25.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes,
the
sir. Trying to take my
25th pick is the Minnesota Vikings. And with Xavier Rhodes making the Pro Bowl by some kind of Minnesota miracle again, we're going to have them taking another corner here. We're going to go C.J. Henderson out of Florida. This guy's just nasty. He just bodies up people. He's got great coverage. He should be an all-around just good pick for the Vikings. Move on from Xavier Rhodes. He's expensive. He's trash. And we'll see how it goes from there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with your evaluation of Xavier Rhodes. I don't love him at all. I think he had a tough season. And I think that it is best if the Vikings do move on from him.
I hope Xavier Rhodes bounces back just so all the haters can
Oh my
say.
gosh. You love Jameis and Xavier Rhodes.
I love
Isaiah Simmons at 3.
I love Jameis because of how bad he
off.
is.
You're kicked
Let's
off.
go back to that. I never said a good thing about Jameis other than the fact he was the only member of the 30 INT club.
Hey, and it's a beautiful thing, honestly. Henderson is the best corner available here, though, and I think that he should be the last one picked in this round. So unless we have somebody else, don't worry about it. He should be the last one picked in this round, in my opinion. So I think he's a good pick there. At number 26, we have the Miami Dolphins with their third pick. Number 3, folks.
Could
Number
trade that, though,
3.
to try to move up.
I think it's very possible that they do trade up to get 2 at 3, like we were talking about earlier. But without trades in this mock, I think that their best look here is at DeAndre Swift, the running back out of Georgia. DeAndre Swift has so much talent. He's fast. He's athletic. He's a playmaker. When he touches the ball, things happen. He's explosive. And with the Dolphins getting rid of Kenyon Drake this last season and pretty much having no weapons on that offense, I can't even. I don't think I can even tell you who the running back for the Dolphins is. He's a white guy, right? Laird, is that who it is?
Yeah, Philip Laird.
Yeah, we don't
picked him up
want
in my fantasy football team. Kind of shit the bed when I grabbed him.
He didn't do anything for you, and I think maybe adding something in that backfield can start to rebuild this god awful Miami Dolphins team. So I think that's the pick at 26.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift's probably going to be an Alvin Kamara clone. His dead leg freaking change of direction juke move is unbelievable. It's elite at the highest level. Should be an every down back. He's got hands and can run in between the tackles, can run outside the tackles. Just all around great running back.
I do think there are a lot of concerns that come with Swift, though, because a lot of people point to the fact this year was his year to be the standalone back, and his production kind of stalled out. He didn't really become the RB1 that everyone was expecting him to be. I do think he is still the most talented running back in this class, but I do have some current concerns about this pick. But I think if you pair him with Tua, to give that offense some form of weaponry, it's a solid pick. 27, we got the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks are a wild card pick here because it's Pete Carroll. They took Rashad Penny last year, I think it was.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah, they took Rashad Penny.
I like Rashad Penny.
There's just
I
do
don't
too.
like Rashawn Penny in the first round.
No, I don't like him in the first round.
No.
Let's be clear about that.
Should not have been a first round pick. But I do think Seattle's a wild card. And if I was picking for Pete Carroll, I probably wouldn't be making this pick. But I'm picking as something I would do if I was a GM. I'm going to have them picking Terrell Lewis, the edge out of Alabama, because you have two of their edges, Clowney and Ziggy Ansah, hitting free agency or potentially hitting free agency. And if you choose to let them both go, your edge class and your edges just take a huge hit. So why not bring in the best guy left, which is Terrell Lewis? He was a monster at Alabama. Few injury concerns, kind of similar to Caleb on Chason. I do have Chason higher than Terrell Lewis, but I think Lewis is still almost as good of a player and just what they need to replace the two edges that might be leaving.
Yeah, I think Lewis definitely looks the part of like an NFL edge rusher. He's long, he's tall, he's 6'5", but he's still explosive, he's still fast. And if they're looking for something up that alley, I think Terrell Lewis is the perfect pick here.
All right, at 28, we've got the Baltimore Ravens. We all struggled trying to find a pick for them. And with Marquise Brown being their only real wide receiver, we went Justin Jefferson here to give Lamar Jackson another weapon. And he's a great route runner. He's been comped to Devontae Adams. He's got good hands. I mean, he had 4 touchdowns in the first half of that Oklahoma game. This kid's so good, and I think he should really open up their offense even more.
I'm really excited to see what Lamar Jackson can do as a running back this year, especially giving him a receiver like Justin Jefferson to maybe throw to or to block for him as a running back. Because Lamar Jackson is a running back.
And that's a fact. I mean, we've got a couple of quarterbacks like that in this league right now, and Lamar Jackson giving him that extra option, not having to throw to Willie Snead, I think is good looks for Lamar Jackson.
And Mark Andrews every play.
Oh man, Mark Andrews every play.
He saved your fantasy team though, Trevor.
Yes, he did. Thank you, Mr. Mark.
I am going to take back my comments about Lamar Jackson being a running back. That was a joke, in case people were unaware.
Yeah,
I don't hate
Mark Ingram like that.
I do think Lamar did incredible this year and truly deserved the MVP.
Absolutely.
And before the haters call me a hater.
Yeah.
Hater.
We're moving to 29. I felt that this was a tough pick. The Tennessee Titans, despite going 9-7, really picked it up in the second half of the season. Ryan Tannehill came out of nowhere looking like a real NFL playoff quarterback. And looking at their needs and their needs off the bat and the best players available, I didn't think anything really lined up. But something we talked about before while we were mocking this is that Derrick Henry is looking for big boy numbers. He's looking for big money. I think Trevor said, what was it?
Zeke Elliott contract was going to be the floor for him.
The lowest possible. Somebody has to stop paying running backs. Somebody has to stop doing it. They have to stop paying David Johnson. They have to stop paying Zeke. They have to stop paying Le'Veon Bell. And maybe the Titans will be the team to do it. And so I think at 29, the Titans' best pick is going to be J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State.
I love that pick.
Even if you do franchise tag Derrick Henry to keep him for another season, you'll have your guy to rotate in with him. Because Derrick Henry has just an ungodly amount of touches.
Yeah, and Deion Lewis isn't that guy.
Deion Lewis is
Major upgrade.
This is a major upgrade instead of Deion Lewis.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins is a game breaker. I mean, every play that he touches the ball, it could be just going straight to the end zone. Good speed, good vision, good hands, all around good back.
If you can't tell, this is one of Trevor's favorite players in the draft.
Oh, yeah.
I do love that pick. So, anyway, leading into pick number 30, the Green Bay Packers. This one was hard because there's no telling what they'll do here, because they have a few needs on defense, a couple needs on offense. I like to go with giving Aaron Rodgers a shiny new toy in Cole Kmet, the tight end out of Notre Dame. I'm probably going to catch a little bit of flack for this one because most tight ends aren't graded that highly, but I do think Cole Kmet would be an upgrade over the tight ends they have, which are Mercedes Lewis and Jimmy Graham. Mercedes Lewis is 35, about to be 36, and Jimmy Graham's just been garbage since he left the Saints. And I think Aaron Rodgers needs a shiny new toy because Devontae Adams can't do it all himself. The other receivers just haven't really stepped up and proven to be those guys yet. And so there's not really a receiver I would take here because Justin Jefferson already went. So Cole Kmet's my guy.
I like that pick.
I don't love Kmet in the first round. Like I said earlier, I don't really believe any tight ends should go in the first round. But if there's going to be a team to do it, I think that the Packers are the team. Cole Kmet's a good athlete. He's a decent blocker, great pass catcher. I was just looking at his numbers, 6'4", 235. I mean, he's tight end size, and was great at Notre Dame this year. So we'll let it pass for now.
All right. I think you'll grow on you after a while. All right, at pick 31, we get the San Francisco 49ers, the runners-up. And we're going to go with the safety from Alabama, Mr. Xavier McKinney. This guy, another guy who can guard sideline to sideline. He can blitz. I mean, Nick Saban had him going all over the field this year. He's going to be really good. I think it'll really help this defense that doesn't need much help. Nick Bosa is already destroying quarterbacks, so having help over the top with Xavier McKinney should be amazing.
You have McKinney graded higher than Delpit, is that right?
I do.
I mean, you want to expand on that?
Delpit, I mean, if you go off his sophomore year film, it is incredible. I mean, best safety in the nation. And then you go off his junior year, he's just not there. He just got lapses in coverage. Tackling wasn't really there. The effort wasn't there. I just think Xavier McKinney's he's the safer pick right now.
That's true. There is a big theory, though, that Grant Delpit was playing to avoid getting hurt and thus lowering his draft stock. But by doing so, it seems like he might have lowered his draft stock if that was the reason he was, off his game. So I guess we'll see whoever drafts him, how he ends up playing. I do think Grant Delpit grades higher than Xavier McKinney for myself, but they are also two different types of safeties.
Yeah,
so.
Totally agree. Delpit's more of a crash type safety. He's getting in there. He's making hits. He's coming up to the line. McKinney, like you said, can guard sideline to sideline. But it'll be interesting to see the two of them in the NFL and how they're utilized to see their success. So finally,
last pick of the draft.
Number 32 of the 32 pick, the Kansas City Chiefs. We had plenty of discussion about the Kansas City Chiefs and their pick here. In some mocks I'd been doing, I had the Chiefs going running back every time. But with Jonathan Taylor being the best running back on the board right now, arguably, I'm not sure that they want him in the first round, nor am I sure that the Chiefs offense wants Jonathan Taylor. And so I think that a strong pick here may be Neville Gallimore, the interior defensive lineman out of Oklahoma.
I do have a question for you, Cato. You were just talking about how great Grant Delpit was. Why did you not go him here instead of Neville Gallimore, who most people have as a second-round grade?
That's a good question. I don't even have the answer for you. I don't know. What do you think?
I'll tell you the reason why they should go Neville Gallimore. Chris Jones is leaving in free agency, which is a huge reason they need somebody on the D-line. He was very productive for them this year, and I don't think they have the money to re-sign him. So Neville Gallimore, I think he's going to grade higher than he's going to test higher than he's graded right now and could sneak into the late first round. So I think this is going to be a great pick. He's a game wrecker in the interior D-line. He wrecks. He constantly has to be double-teamed. It's going to be a great pick for KC.
that's fair and all, but what like that's a good reasoning. But what is there to stop you from pairing Grant Delpit with a guy like Tyrann Mathieu to be the back end of that defense in what's becoming a very pass-happy league? So why not have the two best safeties? Grant Delpit can shift down and cover the tight ends. Tyrann Mathieu can keep doing his little deep-lying, ball-hawking skills that he does and is known for, doing.
I still think the need is D-line there, though. With Neville Gallimore, he could just take over that Chris Jones role and just really rush the quarterback and help with the run defense and really set him up for another championship season next year.
Well, and I think with quarterbacks trending towards faster, more mobile, you're going to want somebody on the inside putting up pressure. I mean, and to be fair, Delpit wouldn't even be bad for that either. He's got great tracking. He's fast. But they're going to be looking for pressure on those quarterbacks like we saw in the Titans-Ravens game against Lamar Jackson. If you can crowd that pocket, then maybe they won't have a chance to even get the ball off.
Fair enough. Time to go into one last question before we sign off for the day. Who do you boys have as the Super Bowl favorites?
I think it's hard not to go to Chiefs. I mean, they just beat the 49ers by, 21 points? I don't know the exact numbers. You got Patrick Mahomes, best QB in the league.
Agree.
You got Andy Reid queuing up the plays. Defense just got to hold them within 25 points. I mean, KC's going to score at least 30 every game, it feels like. I just think they're easily Super Bowl favorites. And NFC, I've always been partial to Seattle. I think they always Pete Carroll always gets them there. So I think they're going to be a good team and bounce back here next year. What about y'all?
Yeah, I agree on Seattle. I love that defense. I love the rushing attack that they've got set up. Chris Carson and Rashad Penny. Obviously, they had some injuries.
Don't forget Marshawn Lynch.
And that's I mean, he was back because of Chris Carson's hip injury, things like that. But Russell Wilson on top of that, and if they're adding somebody like Terrell Lewis, that's scary on that defense. I think Pete Carroll's a genius, like you said. It's hard not to say the Chiefs after that Super Bowl. It's hard not to the way they looked, like you said, with Patrick Mahomes. But I think I don't want to forget about what the Ravens looked like during the regular season. They were terrifying. They were explosive, and that was with no receivers.
Keyword is regular season.
Well, sure. And of course, but now they have the entire offseason to adapt. They have the entire offseason to say, okay, we can't deal with 8 in the box. What are we going to do?
Yeah, that's a good argument. I think my two picks, the AFC, is honestly Baltimore, because I think Kansas City's going to shoot themselves in the foot by just focusing on paying Patrick Mahomes, which I think you should do, but I think they're going to do a bad job of loading up their roster before they do it. I mean, granted, it'll probably be fine because Mahomes' arm is magical and will carry them to a Super Bowl again, I'm sure. But I think Baltimore is going to be the pick from the AFC. Just watching Lamar Jackson, what he did this year was insane. Teams could not stop him except for somehow Tennessee Titans did, which isn't really somehow. They just outplayed him in the trenches. But I do think with the new weapons that they'd be potentially getting and another season under his belt, then Baltimore could be the Super Bowl favorites out of the AFC. In NFC, I have Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay Packers.
Aaron Rodgers is still there. The arm is still God level. The line, like the entire team has gotten better since Matt LaFleur took over. They put money in the right spots. They brought in right personnel to offset the holes, and they're not building a roster just built solely on Aaron Rodgers' arm. And that's what I really like about Green Bay.
I just think the AFC North is going to get a little bit tougher for them next year.
The AFC North.
Roethlisberger's coming back. Joe Burrow's going to go to Cincy. Baker Mayfield should have some help on the O-line. So that division should get tougher next year. And then with KC, I mean, Drew Lock's going to be a second-year guy, but I think they got their number. Oakland. Or not even Oakland, excuse me, Las Vegas.
God, get it right.
Sorry. I think I've called them Oakland a couple times this podcast. I just don't see. And then the Chargers, who knows what they're going to do? It could be Herbert. It could be Tyrod Taylor.
Herbert is going to lead them to a Super Bowl. Banking on it now.
So I just think KC's got the better divisional matchups. And that's why I'm going with them.
Yeah, good points all around. We're just about hitting our time right now. coming in at a clean 52 minutes. So we're going to get ready to sign off. We appreciate any and every listener. That includes my mom, my dad, and any girls that got a crush on me. And you know what DMs to hit if you do.
Shout out again to John and Melissa Cato for letting us use their basement. Sure. Thank you to Audacity for giving us this program to be able to record this with. Matt Miller for helping us with his draft boards, because Matt Miller is the love of my life. Just kidding.
Matt, just hit his DMs. 100 Thompson. It's easy as that.
I'm just looking for a job, man. That's all it is.
Hey, aren't we all?
I'll be an intern for you. I don't care. I'll do it.
All right, thanks for listening, guys. We'll see y'all next week.
All right, this has been The Backups, a football podcast. Thank you.